the biggest opportunity in the new world. I'm gonna tell you this, no matter how many people fuss and fight, the world moves on. And you either change and you learn to adapt. The greatest, probably single saying that you could live your life by is, it's not the strongest or the smartest who survive. It's those most adaptable to the environment in which they find themselves. And we find ourselves in a world where most people are not adaptable and most people struggle. I don't care what your political policy is. Uncle Sam ain't gonna save you. Big government ain't gonna save you. I don't know what will save you. I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you $1,000 a month check ain't gonna change the world. What'll change the world is you building skills, building a skill set. Skill sets are transferable across multiple verticals. The world changes, you have real skill sets, they go right with you, you know? So ask yourself, 2020 is coming right up. And part of why I'm doing this, I'm in London right now, so it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. And I want to call just because I wanted to say a couple things. Last year I opened up Black Friday and I basically gave people $2,000 off. So many people wanted to get in, it was too short of a time. So I'm doing actually a pre-launch Black Friday. So I'm gonna put a link, you might see it, I'll talk about that later, but this is the official, it's Sunday at 9:01 on the East Coast, whatever, 1:30 or 2 in London. And I'm opening this up because, listen to me, the transfer of power, wealth, assets is coming. And now, I'm gonna tell you this, whether people like me or don't like all what I say, I can promise you, I'm always ahead of the curve. People doing Facebook ads now, I was doing them in 2008. People doing Google ads, I was doing them in 2002. So listen to me, I'm not good at everything. I'm not perfect. I make big mistakes like everybody, but I'm good at predicting trends, and I'm telling you a trend right now. So you gotta learn e-com, credit, and not just credit, but also how to acquire capital. It takes money to make money, okay? That's not gonna change. I don't care if Bernie Sanders, Yang, doesn't matter who becomes president. This world, there's systems that go behind the scenes that are much more powerful than any president and any government, let me tell you that. And the system that we have at hand now is a system of asset allocation. And what I mean by asset allocation is there's cash, but it's not just cash. There's things, like I'm in a hotel right here in London. If you own this hotel every single day, people get rooms in it and they charge for those rooms. And cash is deposited in a bank account. And if you owned this hotel, or if you owned an Airbnb, now we're talking about real estate, another one of the 4 pillars of really understand, the 4 pillars of this opportunity that's coming. Now there's the 4 pillars of the good life, which is actually more important than money. That's health, wealth, love, happiness. But inside the second pillar of the good life, wealth, there's 4 more pillars. So there's e-com. That's what I'm doing with Dress Barn. We're making it an e-com play. Toys R Us went bankrupt because they didn't know how to do e-commerce. They only had big stores and not enough people want to go into stores. Amazon was eating their lunch. So you can whine and say all the jobs were taken by the Toys R Us people, but that's kind of like yellow cab people saying that Uber took all their jobs. No, it didn't. You just switched. You're adaptable. You used to drive a taxi and now people drive Uber. And I'm sure there's downsides of Uber and there's downsides of driving a yellow cab. I'm not saying that everything's perfect at Uber. I mean, I don't own Uber. I don't owe anything to Uber. But that's the second pillar. You gotta understand e-com. The third pillar, as I said, you gotta understand credit and how to get capital to do deals. And then lastly, you need to learn social media. I'm reaching you right now through social media. So you know these 4 things? I do not care what happens with the presidency. I don't care what happens in the world. You will be fine, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, you will go through trials and tribulations, but if you really want to have a crappy life, have no expertise in any of those 4. And your life will continually be one of trial and tribulation financially. Okay? So, let's see some comments. Which hotel you at, bro? You know, I would say what hotel I'm at, but when I say that, always people come and they're downstairs, like waiting in the lobby. So I usually I've stayed at many hotels in London. stayed at Edition, I've stayed at Sea Containers, Mondrian, I've stayed at, there's lots of good ones. I love London, by the way. Someone said education is not always the answer. Well, like an Amish guy told me, Ty, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't always make it drink. You can send a boy to college, but you can't always make him think. So yeah, it's not so much about education and the per se, like I have a piece of paper diploma. Look, I just did this deal, it took me 3 months to do it. And I don't have a college degree, and everybody I was doing business with had MBAs, but I ended up owning the asset. So don't worry about that, but you must know how to think. You must know how to think, and you have to have specific skills. Like a lot of it's funny. It used to be, not so much anymore, that people thought I was just this Lamborghini guy, and you know, that's what made me, like I had no skills. I once did a debate with a guy live. He's like, you have no skills, you just know how to do marketing. And I'm like, I'll tell you this, the more people, one of the best things you can learn in life, by the way, mindset tip for you, the more people rail against you, that becomes the fuel. You gotta do it in a healthy way so you don't get bitter. You just go, you know what? The more people talk, the more I do. Move in silence. If you've noticed, I've been much less on social media in the last 3 months because I've been doing stuff. And you pull out, it's one of the biggest business deals in the world in 2019. I mean, it's not the biggest business deal, but it's one of the bigger ones, especially in retail. So, move in silence. Let the results speak loud and clear for you. And just like a UFC fighter, sometimes there's 2 UFC fighters. It's a little bit like Khabib. Khabib doesn't talk much, but at the end of the day, he chokes you out and puts you to sleep, you know? And, yeah. Okay. 4 pillars are asset allocation, e-com, social media, and credit. No, 4 pillars on the wealth creation side. 1 is e-commerce. People don't want to buy like they used to buy. Even this hotel has moved to an e-commerce model. If you remember, a long time ago, hotels, you would just like check in and you would like, you know, they looked through like, a long time ago, they went through like 5 little note cards to see if they had reservations. Increasingly, everything's online. You can check in, check out, you connect to the internet, you can order food, you can see your receipts. There's businesses that are hybrid, but everything will be e-com. Your kids will be like, wow, there was a day where like you had to check in the front desk of a hotel. Even hotels will continually expand. Someone said, didn't Ty get LASIK? Yes, these are fake glasses because people don't always recognize me. And the doctor said it's good, I'm active. Like if somebody scratches, you don't want to get your LASIK eyes. Someone said you bulked up, brother. It's just the camera, man. It's just the camera. I'm in a bulking phase right now. Again, health, wealth, love, happiness. One of the things I've learned, I've tried to collect the best set of mentors in the world in every single area of life. Health, you know, I've got mentors that are like Ben Greenfield. You may have seen him on Joe Rogan a couple times. One of the most in shape guys in the world, has a great podcast. He's been giving me tips and mentorship for years. Danny Hester is a guy who won Mr. Olympia. Dan Fine, these are pro bodybuilder guys. My dad was a pro bodybuilder. I kind of like, you know, I have jiu-jitsu guys that I've learned from, Machados, the Gracies, all that. So that's like part of my philosophy in life. That's what I was trying to say. It's not the smartest or the strongest. It's the most adaptable. The way you become adaptable is who you listen to. Some people don't agree with my philosophy. That's fine. Do whatever you want. I stick my head in the ground. All I can do is tell you what I'm doing and what works for me and what doesn't. If you got another way, then do it the other way. There's many ways. You know, to build a house. There's many ways to do stuff. I can't, people sometimes are like, yeah, but this person doesn't ever read a book and they're successful. And I'm like, yeah, well, Jeff Bezos became the richest man in the world selling books and he reads books. Bill Gates, the second richest man, swears by books and reads them. Book vacations. And his blog's all about books. The third richest man, Warren Buffett, reads 8 hours a day. So what do you want to tell me? What do you want to argue about, man? The 3 big boys out there, they read. So if you want to bring up people who are making 10 million that don't read, go for it. If that's your life philosophy, just do. I'm a head in the sand kind of guy. What I mean by that is I just put my head in the sand, let the people talk, let people argue about. Most people that argue, the time they argue, they don't do. You know, my philosophy, the core values of my Ty Lopez brand, if I brought that to you, I would say I want to help you find the good life. each of those areas: health, wealth, love, happiness. Life is a game of juggling. You're juggling. But instead of 2 things, you're juggling 4. And that's why life, it's not hard, but that's why life, you got to pay attention to what you're doing, because it's very easy to get your wealth up. There's been times in my life, you can even look at some of my videos from the past where I was so focused on business that I couldn't work out at all, and then your health goes down. You know? And then I know dudes that are in the greatest shape in the world, but they can't pay their bills. And you got love, which is the social side, the social component. Friends, family, romance, all those are tricky to balance. You got to learn how to read people. You have to understand personality types. You have to understand body language. You have to understand how to cut people. You got to understand negotiation. People is a compromise game. And then happiness is the final one. You got to understand how to meditate, how to become present. You also have to understand that, happiness is also an illusory game. The more happiness is like a cat. The more you chase it, the further it runs from you. So sometimes you got to learn to just let anxiety go down, and you get that's my brand. That's what everything I do, I hope that's what you understand. Save a couple grand, go into 2020 like a banshee. So I just we're going to announce this. This is going to be done after Black Friday. So get in. I want to see who's going to be the first person. I'm going to read off their name. So you just go to tylopez.com/Black Friday. You're going to save over 2 grand. If you wait till December to get all that training, is going to be an extra $2,000. So I'm trying to make this dirt cheap. I don't like to set it to $1 because it's not fair. And I don't do stuff that's not fair. I don't care what anyone says. People can yabber and get mad all they want. I'm like, hey, if people spend 10 G's, 20 G's a year for college, they can drop $497 for literally more practical training than you'll get in the whole 4 years. There is, and that is part of the core value of kind of any system that you get on my website, Ty Lopez. It's like, how do we cut the learning curve? Of course you can become successful without ever reading a book. Of course you can never have a mentor, but trial and error is very slow and very painful. You could figure out how to fix your own broken arm if you wanted to. You break it, and you put I'm gonna put Vaseline on it. Let's see what that does, okay? It doesn't heal right. You'll break it again. I mean, eventually you can die from infection, but you got 2 arms, so you break the other one. You know what's better? You know what I do? Where's somebody who's got 20 years experience fixing broken arms? I go to them, and I'm like, help me. And that thought is like profound when it comes to life. I ask people, and look, there's people who make more money than me. There are people who, whatever, but there's very few people that I envy their life. Very few people. In fact, there's probably not one person you can name that I would trade. I'm not saying I have the best life. I'm just saying when I think about their life, oh yeah, they got more money than me, but they're 65. Okay. Oh well, I don't want to be. I don't want that. Oh, but they're out of shape. They couldn't freaking go 1 round in a boxing ring. I don't want that. But, there's so many, they have hyper-anxiety. I don't want that. You can keep it. There are people that I look up to that I envy, but you need people in your life that you have a healthy, positive envy towards. And we live in a world where it's just I look around and I'm just like, who do I want to be? And there are a few people. There's a handful of people I look at their life and go, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. That dude figured out life. Now, he wasn't perfect. But to me, I mean, he's a man who set goals and hit every one of them. He wanted to come to America, he hit it. He wanted to be a millionaire before 30. He hit it buying real estate in Santa Monica and doing mail order business. Before e-com, he was mailing weights, similar to e-com with a catalog system in the back of magazines. So he hit that, he hit health. He's got a cool family. I know his son Patrick. He raised Patrick's one of the coolest kids I know in Hollywood. And so he got health, wealth, he's almost a billionaire, love, happiness. I mean, I don't know Arnold well, but I've had some interesting conversations with him in his house, and seems to be a pretty happy dude to me. Everything he tried to do, his major life goals, he wanted to be governor, he wanted to have the highest power political position he could in the United States. He pulled it off. Governor of California. He couldn't be the president because he was born in Europe, but California's the largest state, largest economy in the U.S., and he ran it for 8 years as the governor. And he wanted to marry a Kennedy, and he married a Kennedy. I like that. I'm going, you know what'll make each person here happy if you actually pull off the stuff that you dream about. Everybody dreams about it. Like I said, this woman, she was dreaming about starting a fashion brand, designing her own fashion brand. I don't want to design, but I'm going, she does. So she has to find people that she envies and she would trade her life for. And I'm telling you, in this game called life, there's a lot of people who talk big and there's a lot of people who do this. Very few people that I envy. That I know wealthy people. I know people that are, you know, in the top 10 wealthiest people in the world. And I don't envy them. I know people who are a little less wealthy, and I envy them. So it's not just, that's why I said, you can't just pick one target and go, health. I know people that can bench press 500, 600, 700 pounds, but I don't like their life. For me, it would be a loss to live the life that they have. They might be winning in their mind, which is fine. It's a subjective thing. You're basically playing a game against your own mind. Every person here is playing. It's almost like, you know, the Matrix, blue pill, red pill. There's a lot of truth to that. You just wake up. Life is very illusory. It's very good chance some of the smartest people believe in multi-dimensional realities, whether it's Elon Musk, Stephen Hawking, multi-universe theory. I'm not going to get too far into it, but I will say that you basically are playing this video game against yourself. And characters are getting dropped into it, and the environment changes, like the recession, there's Trump, there's this, and people get all bent out of shape. They're like, Trump's the president, the world's ending. And I remember when Obama was the president, all the people didn't like Obama. It was the worst president ever. And then before that, Bill Clinton. It's just, so you're playing this video game where really all that matters to you inside your brain is that you like your life. I'll give you an example. It's a practical thing on mentoring. Before I bought Dress Barn, very complex deal, Tillman Fertitta was at my house. It's worth $5 billion. He just came out on the Forbes list, 4.9 or $5 billion. He owns the largest restaurant owner in the world. He owns the Houston Rocket basketball team. And I was talking to him, getting advice on how to do this Dress Barn deal. That's my competitive advantage that I have. Those other two people that were bidding against me, they didn't have a billionaire teaching them. And it's not just that he's a billionaire, it's that he does distressed asset deals. So I learned from a master. You know, you want to learn how to box? You want to be defensive on boxing? Learn from Floyd Mayweather, because he's the greatest defensive boxer, him and probably Muhammad Ali. And the other day, if you saw my social media, I took Floyd Mayweather to the Lakers game. And I was talking to him about what? Two things. Business. People understand. Floyd Mayweather's a sharp businessman. And I was talking to him about working out. What does he do? What's his strategy? So I'm in that mode. And anytime people go, oh, you don't need that. You just go in the gym and you just work out till you hurt yourself and you never build muscle. I'm like, good, go do that. But in this game called wealth, small percentage of you. I'm happy for it to be a small percentage of you. I'll teach you what I know. I don't know everything, but I can teach you what I know. And I can bring in the people that I learn from to teach you what they know and what they've taught me. So, for those of you who are, hate the ideas of online courses and stuff, and you think that this whole talk is to funnel you precisely like I'm a freaking master magician into buying my stuff, it's not even the main part of my income. It becomes smaller and smaller every day. I become a more objective person telling you to do these things. In fact, it's funny, in the last 3 meals, I was just like not doing much with my Ty Lopez brand and courses, like, because I was working on these other big deals. And I was talking to Maya, my cousin, I said, you know what? I feel like it's like a lose-lose. My revenue went down on Ty Lopez, so it went up in other places, but also people aren't getting this stuff. I look at the testimonials that pour into my Instagram DMs and YouTube and people posting success stories, and there's less of them. So I'm just going, is this really better? I want to live in a win-win situation, a win-win reality. So there's more content in that you can spend all of 2020 going through the content. There's, let's say, 100 hours of training. You should spend 10, 15 minutes a day. So if you divvy that up, you're not even going to get through it. Change your life, change the world. All right, good night.